Good morning, everyone. Last night was the Oscars, and while I didn't watch it, I read that at the Oscars there's something called seat fillers. You see, when the cameras scan the room, they want to make sure there's no empty seats. So if somebody gets up in the middle of the show to go out to do something, they have seat fillers. 300 people who come in gowns and tuxedos, stand in the back of the room. They're selected from thousands of applicants, and they fill the seats while someone gets up. What does it have to do with this week's Torah portion? You see, in this week's Torah portion, it says that God chose Bitzalel to be the artisan to design the Mishkan. And when the Torah says it, the Torah says, "See, I've chosen by name, B'Shem," illustrating and emphasizing the importance of the name of a person. The word Bitzalel means in the shadow of God. He was a talented craftsman who had the spiritual ability to design and fashion all the vessels of the temple. That's what Bitzalel was renowned for. Now, King Solomon, the book of Ecclesiastes, says, a good name, Tov Shem Tov Mishem Tov, a good name is better than fine oil. Now that makes perfect sense. First of all, the word shemen has the word shem in it. But why is a name better, a good reputation better than good oil? Because oil has a good fragrance to it, and therefore it could spread for a certain distance, creating a fine aroma, fine oil. But after a certain distance, the oil no longer spreads its fragrance. But a good name could travel from one end of the world to the other. When someone has a good reputation, it's renowned worldwide because it goes further than good oil. But then King Solomon says, and the day of death is better than the day of birth. And the question is, how could the day of death be better than the day of birth? And obviously the day of birth has a celebration because you're celebrating the birth of a person and their potential. But how could you say the day of death is better? So the Talmud tells a story that there was two ships at the port. One was going out and one was coming in. The one that was going out, everyone was celebrating and cheering and hugging and smiling. They were excited for the journey. And then the other one that was coming in, it was very subdued, no celebration, nobody waiting with great excitement. And there was a wise man standing there, and he said, it's just the opposite, he said. He said, the ship that's going out, nobody knows what's going to happen on the high seas. There could be storms. The ship could capsize. The passengers could drown, God forbid. There shouldn't be so much celebration. The ship that came into the port safely returned back from its voyage in one peace and secure and safety and security, and all the passengers survived. That's the ship that should be celebrated. So too the Talmud says, when a person's born, everyone celebrates, but who knows what will happen with this child, whether they'll be righteous, whether their deeds will be good or, God forbid, destructive in the world. So there should be a reason for concern, as opposed to a person who lived a righteous life and returned to their Father in heaven in peace, having lived a meaningful, good, positive life and made a positive contribution in the world. That's the person that should be celebrated. You know, in our society, we celebrate celebrities whose names are renowned. Celebrity, Hollywood celebrities, their names are famous all over the world. Everyone knows their name. But what are they known for? That they have fame or talent or riches? What a person should be celebrated for is their good name, their good reputation. You see, the 300 people who fill the seats, no one knows their names. But the celebrities, everyone knows their names. But the truth is, that anonymous person that you may not know may have a much better reputation than the celebrity. And maybe they're the real Hollywood stars. They're the real celebrities in God's world, in God's production of life, on the stage of life. They're the real heroes and the real stars. Not the people who everyone knows their name, but the people who have earned a good reputation. It's a famous story about Bill Bradley. He was a senator and a former NBA player, and he was at a dinner in Washington, and the waiter came around with the dinner, and it was a chicken and potatoes, and there was a little bit of butter on the plate to go with the potato. And Senator Bill Bradley says to the waiter, could I get an extra portion of butter with my potato? And the waiter says to Bill Bradley, the senator, sorry, sir, but it's only one portion per person. And Bill Bradley looked at the waiter with a look of shock and disgust. He said, excuse me, sir, but do you know who I am? I'm Senator Bill Bradley. I'm a on the Foreign Ethics Committee. I'm a former NBA basketball player. I'm a graduate of Harvard. And I'm asking for another portion of butter with my potato. And the waiter says to Senator Bill Bradley, "Sir, do you know who I am?" He says, "No, who are you?" And the waiter says, "I'm the person in charge of the butter." As long as you're doing your job to the best of your ability and earning a good reputation in how you act and how you treat, it's not important if you're a celebrity or a Hollywood star or you're just a simple waiter. If you're doing your job with conviction, with honor, with dignity, with love, with compassion, with sincerity, with devotion, then you could hold your head high and say, "I'm a star, maybe not in Hollywood, but more importantly, I have a good name, a good reputation, and I'm a star in God's world." What greater place to be a star. Have a wonderful day.